What's something you've gotten away with as a kid because they're young and don't know what they're doing, when really you knew exactly what you were doing? The first 2 years of elementary school I had to take the public bus 2 times a week to get to my school. So my mum gave me money for the ticket each morning I needed it. What she didn't know, I never once bought a ticket and kept all the money. 2 times I got caught, but pretended I didn't even know how to buy one, and they let me go because I was so young. My parents had weird schedules, so for school, my mum usually packed my lunch in the evening and my dad would give me lunch money in the morning, not knowing that I already had lunch packed. I continued that scam for a couple of months until I had enough money to buy a wig, which is when my parents noticed that they've been tricked by a 7-year-old, but of course they didn't think I did it on purpose. I don't know if this fits because I don't remember it at all, but when I was around 3 or so, my sister, 10 years older, kept getting blamed for eating all the ice cream and would deny it, which made my mom mad. Then one day, my mom rounds the corner into the kitchen, then quickly pulls back to watch little old me drag a chair from the table over to the freezer, grab a spoon from the drawer, open said freezer and dive into the ice cream, finish and put the ice cream back, close the freezer, lick the spoon, and put it back into the drawer, and pull the chair back over to the table. It was almost the perfect crime. I threw a water balloon during a birthday party at my friend's dad that I didn't like. Made him spill his drink. I was like 5 or 6. I was on a trampoline, and my older brother kept pushing me whenever I tried to stand up. He repeatedly did this about 7 times. He pushed me all the way to the springs. I tried to stand up again, and he pushed me off the trampoline. Because of the way he pushed me, I was falling head first, so I reached above my head to protect my head from the impact. I broke my fall with my arm, and I broke my arm with my fall. Compound fracture, bone pierced the skin. It popped back in immediately after stabbing my skin, so I never got to see the bone. He told our parents that I was about to fall off the trampoline, and he tried to catch me, but he accidentally pushed me, and my parents thought he tried his best, but he's just a kid, so at least he tried to catch him. I stole a ball from a thrift store. I said I thought it was just someone's lost ball, since it was obviously not a brand new item in a store. However, I fully understood the concept of a thrift store. This thread was made for me. I was one of those kids who was smart, but had very little common sense, so doing these types of things was not unusual for me. I was in Pop Warner, think kids from 10 to 13, football, and I absolutely hated our assistant coach. He was the quarterback's dad and a complete asshole to me. Was the center, that is the lineman who hikes the ball to the quarterback. Every time something went wrong it was my fault, always making me run laps, picking on me for having a squeaky voice and being overweight. With the benefit of hindsight, I have no idea what was wrong with this guy to be so shitty to a kid. Anyway, we went to the playoffs, but lost our last game to a much better team. I had seen people dump Gatorade onto the coach on TV and thought, fuck it, now is my chance. He was wearing a white polo with khakis and I dumped a whole jug of red Kool-Aid on him. I smiled and shouted, "Great season, coach." He was pissed, but completely shocked too. My dad ran up quietly but sternly asking, "What are you doing?" And I just said that I saw people do it on TV. The coach laughed and shook his head. He patted me on the shoulder and said, "People really only do that when you win, but I understand how you got confused." The whole team went to dinner after that. Dude had to spend the rest of his evening in sticky pink clothes. It was the first time I ever felt like I got away with anything. I was the victim of this. We were both kids, but I was the older one. I had my head out of the window and my cousin rolled it up, choking me till I was teary. I was livid, but her mom didn't punish or discipline her cause she's just a kid. This reminds me of something I actually went through. There was a 6-year-old who used to step on me and my sister's feet. We normally didn't have socks on, twist so that it hurt more. Then when we got mad at him, he would say, "I am little," with a smile. I used to wait until my mom showed up at the babysitter's to pick us up to ask for snacks. She would never give them to me throughout the day, but she wouldn't say no when my mom was standing there. zipped my sister in a suitcase, and sent her down the stairs. Nothing happened and she was a bit traumatized, but no physical injury on my part. Hers too, I guess. Man, that childhood event must have left her with a lot of emotional baggage. I used a lot of things in the pantry to make a cake. I had no idea what I was doing, and I knew very well that it wasn't going to turn out any good. I made a mess with flour and sugar and chocolate and everything I could find that sounded cakey. My cake was a disgusting blob with sprinkles and jam on top. I was kind of proud, but I knew I had messed up. I even ate some of it. They made me clean, but I was making it worse, so I got help. My girlfriend works in a kindergarten. The boys are in love with her, so first they started asking things like, "Do you wanna go out? And do you wanna be my girlfriend?" and such. Then it evolved to them slapping her in the but every time they went past her. They are 6-year-olds. I cut the tip of my finger with those small grooming scissors cause I wanted to see if it would hurt. It didn't. I just freaked out at the amount of blood coming out of my finger. Scared the hell out of my teenage brother at the time. My grandfather was always grumpy and didn't like kids. So as he climbed the stairs, I'd pinch him on the butt with a pair of dad's needle nose pliers. He'd yell, "Drag your ass on out to here, ya damn little kid." But mom would smile and say, "He's just being cute." When I was really little, a year or so into using the bathroom mostly on my own, I decided I wanted to use a potty again this time. But only the top part was there. Just the seat, no bowl to be found. Now I don't recall exactly what my motivation was, but I definitely remember I knew exactly what was going to happen as I decided the lack of bowl wouldn't be stopping this train. And how hard it was to not to laugh and keep acting confused as my mom was patiently explaining how it worked. And did I forget how to use the toilet while there was a puddle on the floor, like I had made some honest mistake. Pretty much anything, as long as the house did not burn down. I'm the youngest of 9 kids, and by the time my parents got to me, they were just too damn tired. One time, I became a black market candy shop owner at school. Of course my parents thought I didn't know better, but I had a whole business plan. Eventually I made $400 bucks and my parents realized that I was becoming some sort of weird hustler that knew too much financially. I lost the touch as I got older though. I was the victim of this though, but once my cousin pushed me down a set of stairs into a brick wall. When my older brother and I were young teens, he kept getting yelled at for watching porn on the family PC. Our Catholic mom would check the browser history, find it, and yell at him and ground him. He insisted it wasn't him. He would then get punished for lying, because it wasn't mom or dad, and it couldn't be the young innocent straight A Catholic high school attending sister. A few years ago I fessed up that I, at the time the 14-year Catholic school girl, would Google porn and click links to fill up the browser history and then go on my merry way. Every time my brother pissed me off, didn't even watch it, just googled some boobs and then moved on because I knew she checked our browser history every night because that's just what she did. We did not get along as teens. He pissed me off a lot, so he got yelled at by our mom a lot for porn use. When I was 10 years old my parents pulled me aside one day and decided to break the news to me that Santa wasn't real and they were the ones that bought me the presents under the tree each Christmas. They held off as long as they could to tell me and thought that I was old enough to know the truth. I could tell it was so hard for them because they thought they were breaking a kid's heart. The thing is that I knew that for a couple of years already. I just kept pretending because I liked getting presents. I used to sell weed for a local distributor when I was 10. The money was good and I managed to make a girlfriend using that money, buying her candies and stuff. But my uncle caught me red-handed and I said I was selling coriander leaves. Both my dad and uncle thought local boys didn't tell me it was drug and I was too young to understand it wasn't. Throwing my brother with a swing ball bat. It was an honest accident as my hands were sweaty 2 weeks later. He threw me with the bat because he was angry. He was 5, I was 9, and told my mom it slipped, like mine did. And what do you know? I got 4 stitches, and he got no punishment. He laughed at me after coming back from the hospital. That MF knew what he was doing. Still love him to bits and we are super close today. Mooning some lady on the highway when I was like 7. I'd just watched some funny movie where there was a mooning joke. So there I am, in the backseat of my mom's car. We are going to meet up with the rest of the family for dinner at Sizzlers, and there's remnants of the rush hour traffic. Lo and behold, my idiot 7-year-old self thinks it would be funny to moon someone in slow traffic. My victim followed my mom off the highway to the Sizzler and approached her. When she got out of the car, "Do you know what your son just did?" To which my mom told the lady to lighten up and told her to get lost.